Welcome back, ATAS number Deuce Deuce
Bam,
22.
bam.
Yes, coming back at you from cross culture. You know, I'm Ace. You already know me.
hmm
I'm gonna let my co-host introduce himself.
Yeah, it's your boy Tipsy Japan back with another episode of ATAS across time and space. As my man said, bam, bam, deuces. All right, things are getting big out here, real big. All right, it's good to be back over here on cross culture. You know what it's about. Okay,
The
I just made, I
intersection,
made
right?
this, I made yeah the intersection right between the cross and culture. So that's what he does. I'm here to intersect, to
Hmm.
intercede, and to interfere.
No, no, don't interfere. Don't interfere.
Oh man, yeah. It's good to be back though. Um, yeah. How are things? How was your week?
Whew, the week is hard. Um,
Mm,
it, there's just so much to do. Work has
yeah,
been crazy.
yeah.
Extracurriculars are crazy, and I
Mm-hmm.
almost, almost didn't allow Atas to happen.
Oh no! Oh no! What would the people do? What would they
Oh
do with
my
their whole
goodness, I
week? They have to
know.
listen throughout the course of the week. This edifies at different times and places across time and space. All
Cross
right.
time and space. What
Although
about
things
you? How's your week going?
things are changing, man. Things are changing fast. As I mentioned before, I'm stepping into a new position where in the
Okay.
past, I think when I started in Japan, I was looking at 30, 40 students at a time, right?
Hmm,
And then, after a few years, now I'm looking at 3 years of students. So
hmm.
when graduation time came around, I was like, wow, I've had, lessons and taught 700 people. Right. And then you have
That's
another
pretty crazy.
class that comes on. You have another class that comes on. And then, oh, that's great. That's another 300 and another 300. And it's just like, wow, I'm teaching large groups of people. And then I've been put in this position where I was having a workshop and a forum. And
Mm,
then, I sent out surveys and questionnaires to teachers all over Shizuoka Prefecture, which is in central Japan. It's actually the home of the first not the first, but the home of Tokugawa Ieyasu's Sunpujo, which is his first castle, right?
oh, okay.
This is the most powerful shogun. All right, he had that fist, he had that on, you know,
Okay.
and yeah. So, I've got special love for Shizuoka because they gave me the opportunity, or they allowed the blessings to flow,
Hmm,
and because of that, I was able to reach out to teachers across the line, Japanese teachers and English teachers, and in order to facilitate or find out how they're facilitating lessons, how they're doing everything in English, because that's what the Ministry of Education wanted them to do. Rather than having lessons in Japanese about English, they want English lessons in English. So how easy
hmm.
is that? Explaining grammar and trying to get the students to understand grammar. No, it's not. They struggled, and I wanted to hear what the struggles were and then hear the success stories and then spread those stories. So I had a forum, and now, so in a way their lessons, you know like each one of the teachers that responded and each one of the ones that participated in my workshop, it's like sixty teachers, but then those 60 teachers
Yikes.
had their 150 students each, right? So, all right, mass effect. There are a lot of shareholders, a lot of shareholders. Yeah. A lot of people were affected by that. And then
Hmm,
now fast forward to my current job. Not only am I teaching one-on-one, but then they sending me to this junior high school, sending me to that high school, sending me to this summer intensive program, having me teach
hmm,
these university students and then doctors and then professors. I'm like, wow, it's a lot of really good
hmm.
experiences, in order to interact with and work with different schools. And then now that I'm getting bumped up just a little bit further, like this next position I'm being in charge of. Um, I'm going to be working with all kinds of schools all over the place. at
Mhm.
like hundreds of schools,
Jeez.
and constantly working with them, working with our side, working with their side,
Mm.
making sure our instructors can do what I was doing at those different schools. And that was just, allowing people to, or facilitating people, allowing them to express themselves better in my language. That's just, man, it's such a blessing. It's good to be alive, and to be able to step into that. So this week has been training day. It's the beginning of
Mm.
new things. God is doing a new thing in my life, and I'm just happy to be alive. You know.
All right. Well, we got one of our watchers slash listeners
Mm,
definitely is having a good week.
there we go. There we go. Yeah.
Catching the
Welcome
episode
back.
live. The day is good. Now, we appreciate all the comments, especially those who, all the listeners, I would say, especially those who do comment. And we want you to be part of ATAS across time and space because
Mhm.
it's what helps us. Glad to have you here.
Absolutely. This is that Atas family. We're all proceeding through time and space, but we don't all have a platform. We don't all have a voice. And that's what
Mm.
this represents. Is that represents that plane where we can all just, poke up our heads like prairie dogs and say, "Oh, okay, I see you. I see you moving through time and space. Oh, all right, all right, all right." And then you duck back down into the comments section, until it's your time to pop up. That's all good.
Oh man.
All good. You can see it. All
Oh.
right. You can, yeah. I know what I'm talking about.
The only thing I can think of is what was that?
Hakuna
Lion
Matata.
King,
Hakuna Matata. Yeah.
not
The
Lion King
meerkat.
2.
You
Is
talking
it
about
Lion King
meerkat?
2?
Which one?
Where they talk about Timon like
Mhm.
growing up as a meerkat. I don't know if that was Lion King 2. There's been a few Lion King movies. Like
I
people
know
people
the
try to
first
sleep on
one.
it.
Yeah. I know the
Yeah.
first one. Good.
I saw the live action one with my daughter.
On Broadway?
Well, it was like live action is kind of like more realistic animals. So like
Oh,
yeah, that
the
one that
recent one.
released, yeah, the most recent Lion King to come out in theaters. It was
How
like
was it?
it was okay. Some of the stuff they changed from the
Mm,
original, I was like, oh, I can't wait for this part. And
yeah.
then the part didn't happen. I was like, well,
I
there
just
goes
can't
my
wait
childhood.
to be king. It better have
Oh
been. I
yeah,
just can't wait
that's
to be
oh yeah,
king,
yeah.
right? It was
It
king.
was it was in there. It was in there. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
I guess the childhood version, and I won't, digress too much, but the childhood version was so colorful. There were things that you
mm,
could do with animation that, if it was just realistic, I mean, I don't know. Did
I
they
mean it's
do
all
that? Did they give it
CG,
justice? Yeah.
but it's just a little more realistic. So
Mm,
the the planes look a little more
mm,
gray and brown because
mm,
that's basically what they are in real life.
mm. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's green, but
Mm,
for the most part, the savanna is
mm.
very little grass, very short plants, except for like the one huge tree that you can see
Yeah.
from like, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
yeah, it's like the stem looks kind of like that, and then it comes up like this.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the people listen to the podcast, like
I
they know
was,
what we mean. They do. They do. Just take
I
a
was
look
just
at the
thinking,
a look
I
at the
feel so
Serengeti.
bad
No, you know what they
because
mean.
the people
Uh,
listening are just like, yeah, sure,
sure, right? They're giving us the benefit of the doubt. I'm
right,
trying.
that we know what we're
I'm
talking
giving you the
about.
benefit of the kraut, man. Let's go. What's
The
next?
kraut,
Yeah,
sauerkraut. What are you
that's
doing?
that sour look, like the benefit of the kraut.
Oh
Um,
no.
yeah. Last week was episode 21 over on TPC Japan, the
Oh
People's
yeah.
Channel.
Oh yeah.
Um, and we talked about episode 9 about cognitive dissonance. Which
Hmm.
sounds so wonderful, but um, cognitive cognitive dissonance, as if you just cram those syllables into the smallest possible space. Um, yeah, it's it's something that we've come to live with, come to expect that there will be differences in reality and with our normal day to day, and the theory of how we think things are supposed to be. And sometimes you got to chill out. Don't be all radical about it. Make sure that in your interactions with other people, as you're learning different ways that they express themselves and how they express their love, that you just understand that language, and flow with it if you can. I mean, I was educated last week, and this is some of my listeners or some of my supporters, they haven't had the opportunity to listen in so much. Like they know all that, like, for example, like cisgender, what that means. I didn't. I was in a place last week. It was just like, I knew it existed, like that word, but I wasn't able to use it and say, okay, that's what I'm about, or I'm in alignment in terms of my internal dialogue of what I identify as, and my physical and my interest in terms of finding a mate type thing. I mean, I have a wife, she's a woman, so
You better not be looking. You better not be looking.
no. I'm sure she's listening. I'm sure she's listening,
No,
but I'm
no, no.
just saying.
You said in terms of finding a mate. I said you better not be looking.
Oh, no. I'm peeling back the layers of her. Okay. Her as an onion, yeah, finding the places where we match and where we're different, and I can, provide my self to her needs, and the same other way around. There's so much growth that happens through, in my mind, through that kind of traditional setup. That, yeah, I mean, I'm down for that, and that's what I identify with. So yeah, I mean, you have the, what you identify with and what you're seeking out, and those match up for me. So that's the way I kind of define myself. But in terms of, yeah, what energy or gender identity I identify with would be cisgender. So now I know how to use it, and that's what sprang from last week's conversation. So yeah, I'm enriched, and it feels good. It feels good. Yeah.
Enriched. Well, this chapter was all about one big thing. Money, 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 money.
I had to go with the high note there because
yeah, that was up there. That was up there.
Yeah.
So chapter 10 talks about all about. Yeah, I know how to speak English, I swear. Chapter 10 is all about the construct of money. So these past few weeks have been constructs that we have made, not necessarily things that are concrete that, oh, I can touch this must therefore be, but constructs that make the world go round. As they say, money makes the world go round. I don't believe it, but they say it. But one of the biggest things is that what comes from money, how do we relate to it? A few weeks ago, you were talking about you kind of foreshadowed and alluded to this when you're talking about the numbers in our bank account, and we see the numbers go up, and then we know that we can use these numbers to divvy out to other things, and we can get things and services and all that. But it's not concrete.
It's not.
You're
more
nowadays you don't
ever.
even get a paycheck. You just get a stub. And for my company, it's all online. Like we can go and get our W-2s like January 15th, and it's just, oh, do you want to print it out?
Right.
I guess. Can I do that?
Yeah, I could definitely speak to that. I mean, this year after buying a house, I actually had to do my taxes myself. In Japan, they'll do your taxes for you. Your company usually does it for you. But
Oh wow, lucky you.
yeah, yeah. If you do it yourself, there's an opportunity to, add in more like expenses that you wouldn't necessarily tell your company about in order to get a bigger kickback, tax refund. Um, but by having bought a house, it's just like, all right, well, we're definitely going to go down there and let them know that's a big expense. So you get a
Hmm.
huge tax shield. Um, and going forward, the company would stay on top of that. But the first year you have to do it yourself. And I went
Mm.
down there and I did everything on my phone, and they gave me a charger just to make sure I'd make it through the whole process. And then at the
Hmm.
end, they were like, okay, we'll send you a PDF. And if you want to print that out, you can. So I did all of that just for a PDF. And they were like, oh, yeah.
Hmm.
And which bank account would you like to send? Would you like us to send your return to? I was like, oh, okay. Well, that's better. Like I didn't do all of this physical labor, just to get a PDF. Like,
A PDF. Yes. And here's your
yeah,
receipt. 12 pages later.
right, right. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's really interesting to be in that space where the numbers really, affect the way that um, that you feel, right?
Mm.
I mean, I felt great after having, received that tax refund actually in my account. I got paid the first day, and then the next day, like, okay, I had like an extra 9, but I wouldn't have known
Hmm.
like that it was there. Like you don't feel anything until you see it, you
You're
know,
right.
or until you use it, or until somebody asks you for it, and it's like, oh, well, it's there or it's not.
Like the term like I got it or I don't got it, or if you got it, you got it. Though
Mm,
those terms come to mind. I was speaking
mhm,
to somebody. Actually, I think they might be listening right now
mhm,
about one of our other friends that had spent some money like on a video game.
mm.
Like loot box type stuff. And
Okay.
just like
Ah, the
50,
loot
just
boxes.
like boom, drop 50 to get however many loot boxes. I was
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't do that. But I mean, if you got it, you got it. It's if you got it, you got it. If you have that liquid or that disposable income that
Mm,
you can
mm,
enjoy it that way, then go ahead. But like, there's times when people ask me for money or say, "Oh yeah, if you want to put in for this, then it's gonna be this much." Like, I ain't got it. You know, and it comes
right.
down to
Yeah.
if if we're if we're actually trying to be frugal with our money, with our savings and our what we have and living within our means, then you will have to say that once or twice. There will be those times where you like, ooh, I got it. I'm about to go out and run and buy this or buy that. But at the same time, you need to realize when you don't got it, or if you're moving
Mm,
monies around and it's like just to get by, living paycheck to paycheck, that's not
mhm.
the best thing. But that's kind of one of
Yeah.
the
A
worst things
lot.
about capitalism.
Mm. Could talk to
Yeah.
capitalism. The invisible hand of the capitalist market. The way that can I talk to capitalism or
Go ahead. Do it. Do it.
okay? Yeah. I mean, so what happened was, he just brought up this word. That's a banner at the bottom. It said capitalism, and I'm just like, I'm live. I'm all over that because yeah, capitalism versus socialism is probably a good way to frame that. Capitalism allow the market to handle itself. If there's a need, it will be fulfilled. Because we have something called capital, which stores value, and people are willing to exchange that thing. All right, people are willing to exchange um, our money or this store of value for other things. People are willing to work for that capital. All right. People exchange their time for that, for capital. So we don't have to say, okay, government or king or anyone else, please provide this for us. There are people who will provide it. And that's what a capitalist market does. Like there's a market and there's always a need, and the market fixes itself. People will address the market. They'll go out there in search of the thing, and will
Mm,
exchange their money for it. Whereas socialism just says, all right, well, there are needs. Everyone has kind of like the same basic needs, and we're going to provide the money for that. So give us your money, and then we'll provide you what you need.
mm. But what was coming up in the chapter
Mm,
was kind of the birth of capitalism
hmm
and the problems with socialism.
hmm
That once once you have a socialized uh, community,
hmm
there's going to be some people who want to work as little as they can and get as much as they can.
Yes.
Yeah, so now you have people that are saying, okay, well, I this is the bare minimum I can do to scrape by and get my needs filled.
Mm,
Okay. And then I'm gonna go once it's time to hand out the bread or whatever. Oh, last week's bread wasn't enough. Can I have just a
hmm
little bit more, you know? And then you're laughing all the way to
hmm
the bank.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I know some Christian writers that will say that socialism itself, like that whole, I mean, the Marxist manifesto,
Mm,
um, devised by Karl Marx, is basically the explanation of how socialism should work.
mm,
But I mean, they say that this dude was like a Satanist. Like he was just like out there in terms of his private life, his his intentions with this whole thing, and that socialism itself is evil, all right?
mm.
Itself, and it shouldn't be. It doesn't seem like it is on the surface. The root of, I mean, I know you can already finish it, but you know what?
I mean, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get
Okay,
there.
we're
We
going.
got
I
some
know we're
Bible
going there.
verses. You know,
I know
you
he's
know
probably
we're
going
going
there.
there.
I know he's ready to go. He just put his hand on it. He just slid his hand off camera, and I know what he's put his hand on. I got the same
Mm,
thing right here on my
mm.
left hand. All right, I
Power.
wasn't playing. I wasn't playing. But yeah, I mean, when we know, I really think that the allure of socialism is we all feel that socialism should be better than it is.
Mhm.
At its ideal, it seemed like it would be great, but it never works. You do have it. Human nature is such that greed is going to make people want to work as little as possible and just get their
As
handouts.
much as they
You
can.
know,
Yep.
like basic income, BI is what everyone's talking about right now. You got AI and BI, right?
Mm,
AI being, artificial intelligence and allowing computers to do our work for us, as much as possible. And then BI, because there's going to be this kind of surplus of work getting done and people just kind of sitting around without anything to do. They can't provide more value to society as is. So just make sure that everyone has a basic income. All the basic needs are met.
mm.
And then go ahead and do it. What I mean, if you want to add more to society, if you want to just consume, then consume with, well, man, they just don't sit there and consume with the handout money, right? That's a problem. That's a problem. I can't get done with that.
I mean,
That's
this
what
that's
people
a
do.
whole
Now,
thing.
mm,
Yeah, that's
talk
one of
talk to the
the
states.
biggest
Talk to the
thing
states. Mm,
because with social services, like, and I'm not gonna down the system too bad, especially when I work so closely with it and I've benefited from it.
yeah.
I will say
But
that
we want to know what it's
getting
like. We want to know. Yeah.
getting help in Connecticut. So I graduated college in
Mm,
2013, right?
okay.
I went back to living with mom and I was looking for a job, looking for a job, looking for a job, could not find a job. I wound up getting on food stamps.
Mm,
And I think I applied even for unemployment,
mm,
but unemployment didn't go through because I didn't work in Connecticut.
mm.
So the thing about it is that they just gave me the food stamps. Like they mailed it to me. Like I didn't have to go into any office or anything like that.
Mm.
Just apply for it online. They mailed me the card, right?
Mhm.
It's like, okay,
A card.
all
It's a
right.
card. It's not.
It's a card. Yeah.
I,
I I used to have it still in my wallet, but it's not
mm.
in this one. So yeah, it's just a card. Food stamps is not food stamps, literal stamps anymore. It hasn't been for a very long time. But
Mm.
that's all I had to do,
Mhm.
right? That's all I had to do. But when I came to California and I needed that same assistance
Mhm.
because I was jobless and we had to provide for our daughter, my wife and I.
Okay.
They said, okay, you want the food stamps? You want this help? First,
Yeah.
you have to show us that you've applied for unemployment.
Uh-huh.
And then if you get a rejection or, there's nothing there, cool. Then we'll go ahead with the process. Then
Mhm.
once we get the benefits, we were expected to look for employment. And we
Yeah.
had to
Some
submit,
strength.
like every so often we had to submit, okay, well, this is where I was looking for a job and this
Mm.
and that. And yeah, it's
Mm.
not free out here. We had to go through classes, life skills
Mm.
classes.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
we didn't have to go through job readiness because we both had our bachelors. So we knew how to
Right.
do a resume. We knew how to dress professionally and interview. So
Yeah.
they basically fast tracked us through that.
Mm.
I mean, we went to a job fair. We were the first two in line. It was like, no, we're not playing games. But
Right.
of course, there's going to be people that take advantage of the system. And
Mhm.
I work with the system now
Mhm.
because I benefited from the program that I'm actually a part of.
Okay.
So it's like kind of like my giving back. It's like I know that it works. Like,
Mhm.
don't be discouraged. We're gonna get through this.
Right.
Um, but there are some people who will come into the intake or their initial interview,
Mhm.
and they're so sweet and nice, and oh yes,
Uh,
I'll do everything that the program wants me to do.
uh,
And by the next week, we can't get in contact with them.
where'd it
Nobody's
go?
heard from them. And
Remember me?
they said that they were
Mm.
gonna submit their housing search logs so that they can get out of experiencing homelessness.
Mm.
But where
Is there is there a search? Oh, okay, because this is socialist elements within a capitalist society, right?
they at? Hmm.
And every major country, in terms of developed countries, at this point has something kind of like that. It's
Hmm.
either a socialist system with some capitalist elements, or a capitalist system with some socialist elements, right? And they say that some countries like Denmark and some of these other ones out here, Germany, handle their socialist elements better than the states does.
Oh
Like
yeah,
healthcare shouldn't be
definitely,
this hard.
definitely,
Uh,
definitely.
I mean,
Prisons,
can
prisons in Denmark. Oh
mm,
man, it's a
yeah,
completely different thing.
mm.
Completely different. There's no
The prison
bars or
system,
anything like that.
no bar.
It's no, no, no. It's basically a small apartment because they want to introduce them back into society. They don't want to keep
Mm,
them out of society.
mhm,
It's two different mindsets. Here it's like
mhm.
you can't follow the rules. We're going to treat you like an animal and put you in a cage.
No, 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 no,
What's
no,
that going
no,
to do?
no, 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 no. Over here, we were treating you like animals in the first place. All right,
Oh no.
we're already treating you like animals. We're going to try to find a way to keep you out of society, and this
Oh
is it.
no.
Yeah. Yeah, there are haves and have-nots, and in America, man, if there are no have-nots, people will lose their minds. You just can't
Mm,
just everybody can't just have a piece, right?
mm,
This
true.
week, former President Barack Obama got out there at the White House for his first time in 5 years, and that's what he was talking about, his healthcare system, right? And it has, and we're not political at all, right? Not political, but just
Mm,
referring to the policies that affect the people. You know, Healthcare is one thing, and out here in Japan, everyone has it. and they don't understand why it's so hard to get healthcare in America. Like, what's the problem with everyone having healthcare? Every other country seems to be able to put it together, and we are
Mm,
the richest country in the world. And for some reason, you just have people that just don't have access. That didn't make any sense before, and it doesn't make any sense now. So
mm.
that's why it's out there. And he made a joke though about like the website not working. On the first day, you finally got rolled out Obamacare, and the website didn't work. But it was nice when America's biggest problem is that sometimes the website crashes and
Mm.
you can't get your healthcare together. But once you get access to the site, yeah, everyone is taken care of in terms of health, which is just a basic human need.
Right?
That was the height of our problems at the time.
It's crazy stuff. Crazy, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, if you, I think about how when we have the time, then it's not an
Mm.
issue. But growing up, I mean, we had to wait to connect to the internet. We had. Well,
Yeah.
I don't really say we because
Mm.
I would use the internet at your house, or I would
Uh-huh.
use it at school. Like that was it.
Uh-huh.
So when you had AOL and you dial up,
You remember the AOL? Yeah.
it's like, oh my goodness, and you could just connect, and then somebody would be on
Mm.
the phone line, and you wouldn't know until that last got 3 squares,
Yeah.
that you're connecting, and then it gets to that last one, and then it
Hmm.
doesn't go through. It's like, who picked up the phone? Who did it?
Right. 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 Leave the
And
phone.
then
Do not
DSL
touch the
came
phone.
out.
Hmm.
Ooh, and then you can have a phone line and your internet. What?
Yeah.
And now
Which
we're
is just
so far past that.
unbelievable at that point. Yeah, it's really funny. Like just the other day, we were talking about short message, the short message service, and how
Oh, SMS.
yeah, I mean there are people out there that will send pictures on via SMS. Why? Because we have unlimited data. Why not?
Oh, but
And like, why
if you
not?
send a
That's not
picture,
what it.
then it's MMS.
Right, right. But you can send an MMS through the
Yeah.
SMS service, right?
Hmm.
And once upon a time, it was just a certain number of characters, a certain amount of data that can pass through, right? And now
Hmm.
you can send a whole picture, you can send a whole video, probably, and
Oh, yeah.
it's not that you should, that's not what it's designed for. But well, I
Hmm.
have the data. Why wouldn't I? Have that person's phone number. Why not? Yeah, I guess. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you don't have to get on the same platform. Like out here in Japan, everybody uses something called Line, basically.
Line.
Yeah, Line. And Line, there's so many different ways to connect via Line or to add a friend via Line. So it's not that difficult. But just to get everyone on the same page using the same platform can be a pain. So
Mm.
if you have their phone number, then you can send them a text if they need it, or you can send them a multimedia. What's the S stand for? MMS.
Multimedia service, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure.
I'll send them a picture through the multimedia service. Um, that should have been, I mean, that could be enough. There's no reason to sign up for something called Line or sign up for something called Facebook and it's
Mm.
it's a lot. There's a lot that you offer these larger SNS companies in terms of your personal data, your
Mm.
GPS. They want to know every single piece so that they can send advertisements to you, and also so they can track your type of what type of person you are, find out your
Your
profile, and then
demographic.
yeah, and just sell that data.
Hmm.
You don't have to buy anything from them. But I mean, it's a different topic for a different day. The point is that storing value in digital currency or storing people's data as what we call a token
Mm.
is the direction that things are going next. And we're not actually going to need physical. We don't, for the most part. It's electronic. But then at this next phase, as the internet evolves, we're not really going to see that. I don't think we're going to see an exchange of digital currency like US dollars or European dollars. That's so messy right now. Like the whole exchange thing, the yen, like if we're all on the same currency, the same digital currency, then transactions become that much smoother.
So Bitcoin, that's what we're
There you go. Like a
cryptocurrencies.
like a bite coin.
They're the
Crypto.
reason why that's coming into such a big spotlight is because it's actually doing away with the digital, or well, it's doing away with the physical dollar and moving more
Mhm,
towards a digital dollar, to the point
mhm,
where you can pay for just about anything with a fraction of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is
mm.
over 50,000 last time I checked, but
One Bitcoin.
one Bitcoin is worth
Mm,
over $50,000, or was at the last time I checked.
mm,
So it is something that people want to get into, and it's like, well, I'm just going to make more, make more, make more. But that begs the question: which is worth more, time
mm.
or money?
Yeah. If I can address that one,
Go
everyone
ahead.
says
I'm
time is
posing the
money.
question.
Time is money, is what some people would say, but it's not. It's not, because time is limited. All right.
Mm,
You only get, was it 30,000? Was it 30,000 days?
3,000 days? Why are you measuring by days?
Like your life, you only get like 30,000 days in your life, period. Right. Like that's it. I think that was the
But
number.
why
And
why measure by days instead of years?
because year is, it's fuzzy. When we start to think about a year from now or 1 year ago, what were you doing a year ago? But when you say a day, like today is right now. I can keep track of that pretty easily. This day is going to end at 12 o'clock. This
Mm,
day is going to end in a certain number of minutes. We feel very viscerally what 1 second is. You can count it on your own as they pass by. All right. And a
mm.
minute from now, you'll know that. I can look in the top left corner. But when you say a year, that's really fuzzy, man. Like compared to those other things. And yeah, so it just your life. If you think about life, like a day, sun up, sun down. It's done.
Oh,
A revolution around the sun, that was something that took human beings a couple thousand years to get down. Like, yes, we're actually going around the sun. We went around once. Different cultures kind of had their witch doctor or their smart guy that knew all that
mm,
stuff. But it wasn't that every single person knows for a fact that 1 year has passed. They see the seasons come and go, right? But a
yeah.
day is pretty clear for all of us. So we can count
Mm,
that and say, you get 30,000 of those, and that's it. What are you going to do
3,000
with your
days.
remaining? Yeah. Hold on. Let me make sure. Let me make sure. And this is Google's voice. So anybody wants to use Google, go ahead and use their stuff. Whatever. Okay, Google. How many years is 30,000 days?
30,000 days is 82.137 years.
Okay. So
Uh,
82. All right. Some of us don't get 30,000. Some of us get like
some of us
25,000.
don't get 30 years.
Yeah, some of us don't get 30 years. In fact, if you're one of the people that didn't get 30 years, you're not listening to this. All right. Yeah,
Well,
I'm
that's one
sorry.
way to say it.
I'm sorry. You didn't get your 30,000 days. Eh? But
Mhm.
30,000 at the same time, it feels like money. It feels like money in a way. Like some of us feel very closely connected with the number 30,000 just as an income number. Either you were at
Mm,
30,000 in the past, or you're at 30,000 right now. You're struggling to get that 30,000. Like 30,000 is a real easy number to fill out. So I'm saying 30,000 days, or $30,000. $30,000 isn't much. It's going to come and go within the course of a year. You're probably either going to
oh
pay
yeah.
it out, or you're going to try to save it. Get an education in the States 1 year. Um, at my university, it was only like 22, 3, 24, somewhere around there. So yeah, paying for a high school or a college education 4
Mm,
years, going to go over that 30,000 as a solid number though. It's
Yeah.
pretty clear. Now, my point is that time, your 30,000 days, okay, your 30,000 days, you're not
Yeah.
getting many more. You can't barter to get more. All right. And if you mess up, you're gonna get less. All right. You're probably not gonna reach that 30,000 mark. And so what are you gonna do with it? In a best case scenario, what do you do with the 30,000 that you have? Versus, all right, money. You can do whatever, if you use your time wisely, then and make that money work for you, then you could get more money earlier on, and then use that money to either enjoy stuff, help them spend their 30,000
Mm.
days in a more productive, enjoyable, rich way. All right. If you use your time wisely, you can, and use your money wisely, then you can add value to the time that people have. You can't give them more time, unfortunately. But yeah. I think that it's a very interesting relationship between the two. Which is worth more? The limited resources is worth the most, I would say.
Yeah.
The limited resource. People
Yeah.
trade time for money. They trade their time. Their precious 30,000. I'm going to give you just so many hours of this day, in exchange for some money, and then use that money to, transfer it into other resources such as food or a more secure night of sleep.
Hmm.
And do what you got to do.
Yeah. And that's
How do you
one
feel?
thing that comes up when we talk about a living wage, or we talk about raising the minimum income bracket. Our time is a thing that we can't get back. But I mean, you can invest and reinvest and invest again your money and get returns on that money. But once you spend your time with somebody, you're not going to get that time back. It's not something that's re-given to you. And that's for the best and the worst. Because if you say, okay, I'm going to look at my time as precious and I'm going to make it meaningful and I'm going to spend it with the people that I care about and that care about me, that's great. But at the same token, if somebody wastes your time, it's like, oh, hey, have you seen this YouTube video? We're going to watch this 1 minute YouTube video 50 times in a row. Man, that's 50 minutes of your life you will not get back.
Yeah.
And it may seem like an eternity too, because you don't want to do it in the first place. Or maybe it was funny the first 2 or 3 times, but to watch it 50 times in a row, it's like, oh, okay, are we done yet?
It's mad life, you're using up a whole lot of lifetime, and you don't feel like any money is being lost when you're doing that. You've already spent the money for your internet connection. But is that how you want to spend your time?
Yeah.
When it's all said and done, is the question, how many YouTube videos you watch? Is that
do I watch?
Really? No. I mean, like, all right, are people going to say that at your obituary? Okay, he watched 30,000 hours of YouTube. Not 30,000 days, but 30,000 hours of YouTube.
Hours.
How many hours have you watched? I think Google Analytics has that. That's definitely.
Yeah, they most likely do.
You can see how
That's
many hours you spent. They can see how many hours you spent.
Yeah, because YouTube is owned by Google, so
yeah. Would you want to know if you knew how much time you spent on watching videos online through Google services? If you knew how much time you spent doing that, do you think you'd want to reduce it, keep it, or spend more time?
Probably reduce it, but I do tend to have a video on while I'm doing more menial tasks like
Mm,
housework or uh, ironing my clothes in the morning, things like
mm.
that.
Do
So
you
there is
do you
something
pay
to be
money for it?
said. Do I pay money for
YouTube
ironing my own
Premium.
clothes? Nah.
No, 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 no.
No, I don't.
For
I don't
yeah.
have YouTube Premium.
Mm,
No,
mm.
I just have the regular one. So it's like I have to keep the video on in order to even hear.
Yeah.
So it's I'll have my phone. Sometimes I'll have to go downstairs for something before
Mm,
I'm done ironing my clothes or jumping in the shower or whatever.
mm.
And my phone will be on upstairs,
Yeah.
and I'll have
Use it
my
like that.
headphones. I'll have my headphone in,
Yeah.
so I can actually listen to what's going. Because that's I just want the information. I
Hmm.
don't need to really look at. But there, I mean,
Mm,
of course, there's some videos where I'm just like, okay, this is funny. I need to see the whole thing, not just
mm.
hear it. But
Well, you
for the most part, you just have it on in the
that's
background.
and I gotta ask the host a question on this because there's a such thing as YouTube Premium,
Hmm.
and you could pay for it. And I
Hmm.
just this week, that's why it's so relevant to me, and why I'm really interested now. Um, it's like, all right, I already paid for YouTube Premium. If I upgrade to the family plan, now I don't. My wife doesn't have to waste time watching advertisements before the video that she wants to watch.
Wow, that's a big
you
thing.
know the that is huge. All that time that we wasted watching ads, I don't want the ads. I want to listen to what I want to listen to, and I want to watch what I want to watch, and spend that time, and it's done. But there's so much time that they steal with these advertisements. It
Hmm.
drives me insane. And like, if I look at a year, can you imagine, like, the whole year has passed and how many ads did you watch? 30 seconds, 3 minutes. That was a 30-minute ad that I was watching before. It was
30-minute
actually like
ad.
it was a
They
speech,
do come up. They do come up. Yeah,
like,
that's
based on things that
very
you're
strange.
interested in. It's like, wow, that's actually pretty good. Like,
And then you sit
I
there
mean,
watching the ad instead
yo,
of the
it was like a
video.
master. It was like a master class. I don't know if you've seen that one. Like, it was a master class. The
Um,
whole master class video was there. It's like
what
an
the
hour
hell?
long. I was like, bro, I didn't look that up. This is not the. This it still says in the bottom right corner. Skip. like, this little algorithm right here knows a little bit too much about me, because this is
This
something
is
I would
not the
want to
video I
find.
was looking for.
This is not the video I'm looking for, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So, I got the thing is, I got to that point where it's like, all right, let me go ahead and put this microphone in my room. You can listen to everything I say for free. Thank you, Google Nest. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pay for YouTube Premium and get YouTube Music. And now I don't have to watch any ads. I don't have to,
Mm,
the John downstairs, like, because it was only on my account before. My wife would have to, like, if she says she wants to watch this or listen to this song, and say, "Oh, unfortunately, you're using too many YouTube accounts at the same time," because I'm using YouTube
mm,
upstairs. None of
yeah.
that. All that is done. All that is done. If you get the YouTube Premium family plan, it's extra, $5 or something. Now you got
Mm,
6 family members that you can add, and they can just enjoy the thing. If I'm going to spend some time doing this thing or watching this thing, then that's all the time that I want to spend there. I don't want to spend
mhm.
extra time. I don't want you wasting my time with advertisements so I can buy something I don't need.
Hmm.
But is that what the ads are for? Are they advertisements for something you don't need, or advertisements for some video that you don't need to watch? You know, what kind of ads do you see nowadays?
Oh
How are they
man.
spending your time?
So I have seen a few different ones for like meal supplements and
Mm,
like vegan meal supplements that are supposed to
look at
give you
that.
everything, like Huel and Kachava. Not
Yeah.
sponsored, you know. I want somebody thinking them.
Yeah,
I've
we
seen
should get
some for
sponsored.
alcohol, which I really don't
Mm,
understand because I don't
wow.
drink.
They know that
Um,
you haven't drank recently. That's why.
I I
I
don't
never do.
drink. Like,
Yeah,
look, look,
yeah.
look. The only beer that I've had
Mm.
was what's
Ginger
it?
beer.
No, the acai Asahi Dry
Super Dry.
Zero.
Dry Zero. Yeah. With no
Dry
alcohol.
Zero in Japan. Yeah, no alcohol. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and I had
This is not Black Liquor.
one in the States. They have it canned in the Japanese market that I go to sometimes.
Oh.
That's it. Like, and there, I'm not getting ads for that. I'm getting ads for beer, and like alcoholic cocktails and stuff like that. I'm just like, what's going on? I have gotten a few like TED Talks or masterclass stuff, but not too much. It's a lot of. I feel like it's a lot more stuff that I was interested in my 20s, which is a little strange. Like stuff like skydiving and stuff like that, But it's like, why? And then I'm just like constantly like trying to skip, and there's like, you can't skip this ad. Your video will resume after the ads. So that means that you have one unskippable ad, and then you have to skip the next ad, or your video will resume after this ad. And you have to watch the whole thing. It's like, oh, why?
Is it worth it? Is it worth it? It seems like you're not spending money watching the ad, but you are spending your time.
And that's the thing.
And you won't get it back.
At all. Will not get it back.
So would it be worth it for you just to spend the money? Spend the money so that you can keep your time.
I don't know. Because I don't watch YouTube that much. I feel like that therein lies the issue. Because for me to get a good return on my investment, I have to be watching YouTube a lot. Because $5 a month, I might not spend that. Because for the most part, I mean, we have just about every. But the thing is that we have just about every streaming platform in the house, either through free means. Okay, so we have Netflix, Hulu, pardon me, Disney Plus.
Prime. Oh, Disney Plus.
Amazon Prime. Peacock, I think we have
the
Peacock.
NBC one. NBC,
yeah. Paramount Plus.
I got 6 fingers up, folks.
I think there's another one too. But yeah, as you can see, I don't pay for cable either. So I use those instead of paying for cable. So I don't see a reason. Yeah, I cut the cord.
Okay. Well, that's an interesting piece because in Japan,
you don't get a choice.
There's something called NHK, Nippon Hoso Company, and basically it's the Japan Broadcasting Company, and everyone is supposed to pay if they have a TV. If they have a receiver, they're supposed to pay.
No, it's horrible.
But they don't make you sign up when you buy a TV. What makes it worse is that they walk around. People who work for that company walk around, and they knock on your door, and they ask, do you have a receiver? Do you have a device that can receive a TV signal? If you do, please sign here. Give us your bank account information, and we will take $25.
Wow.
$25 or $40, depending on the type of connection you have, every 2 months for one channel. One channel. Okay? This is state-sponsored TV. Public-sponsored TV, because the public has to pay for it if they have a receiver. If you don't have a receiver, you don't have to pay for it. All right? But what people will do with this little socialism thing, that's not implemented well. No, I don't have a receiver. No, I ain't got that. I don't have a TV. They could turn the TV up in the background. I have a friend who did that. He went to the same school as me. He gave me his TV, as a matter of fact, after the fact. All right. And he turned the TV all the way up, came to the door almost butt naked with some plastic gloves on. And he said, "Hi."
No, too much.
Hi. Hi. You know, and they said, "Do you have a TV?" I was like, and he said, "Televi? Wakarimasen." Wakarimasen. That means I don't know. I don't know.
No.
what
I
that
don't
means.
understand. Like,
Right. But he's
the
saying,
word, I don't understand.
Yes. He's saying,
Oh, gosh.
and the TV is turned all the way up. It's on blast. I can hear something in there. Wakarimasen. It's not a TV. Whatever it is, you know, he's got the TV turned up though. Right. And they can't just
That's so
barge
bad.
into your house because they're not the police. They can't barge into your house because they're not the police. Look, they came in. The guy that got me to pay. Because the thing is, the law is that, and this is Caesar's stupid law. But if Caesar says that you're supposed to pay, give Caesar what's his. That's all it is to it. I don't even care. But I said no, because I didn't have a TV. All right. When I got a TV and it showed up at my door, I got a TV for free because my friend just, peddled it off on me. When it came to my door, this big old, rugby player comes into the doorway. He puts his foot in. He's like, "Hi, konnichiwa. Do you have a TV?" And I was like, "I do, but it's not plugged in. I don't watch it." And he's like, "Oh no, if you have a TV, you have to pay." Here are all the different languages that the explanation is in: Japanese, Chinese, Korean, English, Hindi, all that. He was ready, with his document. And I was like, "All right, I understand that's the law in Japan. So just take all my money." Fine. Take all my money. Because what happened was, up to that point, it's like Jehovah's Witness. They will come to your door. Knock. And you can't even leave the house. You got to pretend that he's, like you look like a peasant. And no, hate for all my peasants out there. But you look like a peasant. You can't even leave your house without these people just being at your door. And they you feel like a second class citizen just for saying no, every time. "Oh, I don't have a TV." I do have a TV. I don't want to pay you, right? Or when you're breaking the law, if you say you have a TV and you don't pay, then you're kind of breaking the law, because the law is, if you have the receiver, then pay it.
You gotta pay.
But yeah, you're supposed to pay. To pay. But guess what? In the city, all right, in Tokyo or in Osaka and all the major cities, only about 40% of the people pay. Some
That's
cities
crazy.
less.
And there's no way.
Why?
There's no way that they don't have.
I'm saying, look, I could not. And then the countryside, it's like 90%, 89%, 85 to 90.
Well,
Depending on the area.
There's only 5 people to begin.
I'm saying, but depending on the area, I mean, it's like you got older people. These are older people that are paying all their NHK money, and young people that are in the cities or business people. I'm too busy, man. I ain't got time for that. Get out my face. I'm working. You got salarymen. They don't have time to just sit at home and watch TV anyway. But why not just have it as a tax, a TV tax? Everyone pays it. You're done. Why not? Is it better to just bother people trying to collect this little bit of money and knocking on their door? Maybe it is, because that's a job.
No.
That's a job. Somebody gets to go around walking with their child. It looks like Jehovah's Witness right here. You're not going to turn down me and my child. We came to collect. Come on. Like, man, it's funny. It's real funny. And this is the worst part. So when I moved from Shizuoka to Chiba, I chucked my TV. I gave it to my predecessor. All right. Or not predecessor, my successor. All right. I didn't need my TV anymore. So I was done. I called them NHK and I said, "Hey,
Stop taking my money.
Do you have a smartphone? Yes, I have a smartphone. What's the maker? My smartphone is Sharp. All Sharp smartphones have the ability to receive signal, so you can't cancel. You can't. What do you mean you can't?
Dang.
Look, no. I have my. called you on my phone. All right. I didn't uh, set up my NHK bank account, whatever, all that good stuff, because of my phone. I set it because of my TV. I no longer have a TV. Let me cancel. No. What do you mean? No. No. Bang. It banged on me. I couldn't believe it. Look, I'm moving away. I don't have a TV. All right. No, it's not good enough. All right. You got to get rid of your phone. And then if you get rid of your phone, how you going to call them?
To tell them not to.
How you going to call them?
So all you do
It's
is close
dirty,
the bank account, right?
That's what I'm saying. You just close the bank account. But then there was a case of a guy that closed the bank account. And because they had the contract with him, now his payments are in arrears. So they could sue him.
What? Oh, that's crazy.
You're going to go and pursue someone and sue them in court. The person got to appear in court over some back payments. But you can't make everybody pay that has the thing in the first place. You can't.
That's crazy.
You just make an example of this guy. Yeah. Dirty. It's a mafia. Oh man, that's the one thing I do not like. I'm on a rant. All right, don't
You're
get
on a
me
rant.
started. I'm on a rant.
On a rant.
And but you
no,
know,
I mean, but
I pay my NHK.
That goes because
the thing is, and I have to put that out there, and you can support it or not. But I'm paying time. I'm paying money for that time. I'm never going to waste my time going to the door talking to this person about how I don't have a TV and I'm not successful. No, I have a TV in my house. All right, I have my house. I have my TV. I have my smartphone. I'm telling you, do not come to my house. Gravity slap. When I had locks, I did something called a gravity slap. All right, that's when you put your hair all the way back. All right. You can go ahead and do it now for the people, right? Put your hair all the way back. And then you just gravity slap. Yes.
I don't think my drinks are long enough yet.
You can do it. All right. All the way and then sklap. All right. Sklap.
That's it.
Ain't happening. Yes. All right. They just snapped back into place. But yeah.
All right.
Sometimes you need to.
But you know, this NHK stuff just seems like they just want the money.
Is
it? The love of money.
Is it though? You know, I think it's just a job. It's a job.
Is it just a job?
Like the people who go out there and do the dirty work. You know.
No, not for them, but
they don't love it.
You know, the company, like who set this up?
Well,
who hired them to go and do the dirty work?
Well, the thing is, it is a company, something called NHK. Like they do have, they have actors, they have centers, they have the news, they have the meteorological network, all that stuff in place for everyone. And it was originally a government agency, right, that did that. So, you know, they went private, but they're still supported by the country, you know. They're the most respected body in terms of like the news, providing the news without the bias and all that. So it's essentially the BBC has the same thing going in the UK. The BBC is the most respected news outlet, right? NHK is that
not just news.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead.
Because a lot of the shows that are very successful in the UK come through BBC, and then you know they branched out, and now they have like BBC America, where they broadcast here, or they have channels that you know they kick over here. One of the biggest things, Doctor Who.
What?
Yeah, so talking about across time and space, it's literally about an individual who time travels and space travels, yes, across time and space, and solves different mysteries and has a companion that changes from season to season, and pretty nice story. I haven't watched them forever, but it's still on. It was on in like the 60s.
Wow.
1963 it started,
Yeah.
and then it went on a hiatus for like I think like 20 years or something like that, something weird, and then it came back in full force. Like it's
And this is a BBC show.
9, 10, maybe no, maybe 10 seasons since it came back.
Okay.
So I mean,
Where?
they know what they're doing.
How do you watch it?
Oof, I haven't watched them
that's
forever.
the thing. NHK knows what they're doing. BBC seems to know what they're doing, but then again, NHK is so because it's the country's thing. You know, it has the country's name. Japan Broadcasting. So it's like they can't speak negatively about the ruling party so much, you know, because it's the country's news. It's almost like it needs to have a kind of national, you know, love of Japan base. You're going to see shows on NHK that are in cultural shows, you know, traditional Japan. You're going to have NHK radio, okay? Which is another thing. It's just like that's the standard channel. NHK Radio Taiso. You know, every school, every school in Japan knows Radio Taiso, knows how to do the stretches because NHK set that up. So yeah, it's a bitter kind of pill, you know, if you think about the fact that other people are not trading their money for that service, thinking about the amount that they get out of the service. I don't. But then again, it's not really that expensive. Bro. Like $25 every 2 months. I mean, for one channel, it just charge everybody, and it shouldn't be an issue. But by and large, addressing this issue of the love of money, in Japan, people don't make as much. The vast majority of people don't make as much as they do in the States. And you know, and instead of really getting paid like that, they have security, kind of job security. People in Japan don't get fired. They don't, unless you do something really stupid like a DUI or something. Like you're not gonna get fired. So you have security. You have a 9 to 5, 5 days a week. You know, people think things are expensive here, but not that expensive. And there's, I mean, the basic income is, if you want to work, there's a job. You know, like you're not really seeing homelessness and you know, obscene poverty, unless that's what the person really wants. By and large, you know. So yeah, I mean, you can't make as much as you could in the States, but then that greed is not quite as raw as it is in the States either. Maybe because of that, you just can't make that much. Yeah.
Well, you know what the Bible says about the love of money. You know, and this came up also in the book, in this chapter, that Christians say that money is the root of all evil. And I don't like when things are misquoted from the Bible, or people say, oh yes, you know, this is in the Bible, like cleanliness is next to godliness. That's not biblical.
That's not biblical at all.
That's not biblical. God helps those who help themselves. Not biblical. Yeah. These are ideas that kind of got watered down, passed around, and it's like, oh yes, this is clearly what it's saying. It's like, no,
it doesn't. And you make that face too. He's making a judge. He's giving a judgy look.
I'm not a judgy look. It's just like, don't say that it is.
Yeah.
if you don't know that it is.
Yeah.
And it's one thing for you to say, oh, this is what I've seen true in my life, because then I
Mm.
can't say anything about that. What you've seen true in your life is what you've seen true in your life, because
Mhm.
I don't have those same experiences. We could read the same exact Bible verse the same exact way, both be wrong, but both have completely different. Yeah.
Mm.
So we do have to let the Bible speak for itself.
What does it say?
Don't come into it with its own presuppositions like, okay, well, I know that this verse is going to say this, so I'm just going to read it as if it's going to say that.
Mm-hmm. What does it say? What does it say?
All right. So, 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 10.
Verse 10, chapter 6, verse
10.
10. It's good to be over in cross culture. 1 Timothy chapter 10.
No, chapter 6, verse 10.
Oh, okay. 6 verse 10.
It's
I
like,
got it
whoa, whoa,
highlighted.
whoa. We're looking a little thin here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm looking around. Looking around. New
All right.
International says, for the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Some people, eager for money, have wandered from the faith and have pierced themselves with many griefs. 金銭を愛することがあらゆる悪の根だからです。ある人たちは金を追い求めたために信仰から迷い出て非常な苦痛を持って自分を差し通してきました。
Wow. It sounds way more forceful in Japanese. No lie.
I'm just saying. It's like the amplified for me, though. All right. And I got that too if you need it.
No. You're good.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not that money is evil. Money is just a tool. And Christ actually said you can't serve man, or you can't serve God and mammon or money.
Mammon. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're not going to be able to uphold both. He goes into talking about a man can't serve two masters, because you either love one and hate the other, or hate the one and love the other. That's just what it is.
And
So
mammon, and correct me if I'm wrong, but mammon was like considered like not considered a deity, but he was one of the lowercase gods, right, at the time. So people understood what it was, right?
I don't know
people
about that specifically.
Mammon. Yeah. It's in a book like right over there. I would
okay.
grab it. You know?
I'm about to say.
Yeah. I mean, I probably have a picture. Yeah, go ahead. Talk to that point. I'll grab it.
I mean, it's just like a person can't be in two places at once. Neither can your heart. So if we say that we love Christ, or you say that you're a family man and you're not spending time with your family, there's an issue there. If you say that you're a Christian and you're not spending time with Christ, or in His Word, there's an issue there. If you say that you're a salaryman and you're all about the dollar bills and you're not chasing the bag, then there's an issue there. We have to be 100%. And whoever you are as a person, that 100%, you need to make sure that you practice what you preach. That type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's the real Christian walk, though. I think that a lot of people don't, and I don't mean to take that point in a different direction, but I don't think a lot of people really internalize like what they could be called to do in the walk. One of my brothers, like he's gonna move to the Philippines, in a couple of months, and it's just like that's where God is calling me. Gotta go. And it's like gotta go. I mean, like for me, like where I am in life, like I couldn't see myself just dropping everything, and then the whole family got to move too. And it's just like, yeah.
Mm.
But I mean, if you have a family that's supportive of that, and then you just ready to go, like that's beautiful. But I think the family structure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like when you're a guy that's single and you look into marry someone in the States, would you say that the typical expectation is for you know for that for I don't know, like if that's what people are looking for in the States, but or if that's what women are looking for in the States, but when they look to marry a guy, like you have a wife, husband's going to provide stability. And because she has that stability, she's able to, um, you know, bring a child into the world, stay at the
Mm.
nest, feed, nourish, because the stability is there. That's like the
Mm.
traditional structure, I think. The guy
Yeah.
is working it so that at home is stable, you know. Um, so it's almost like marriage is almost like a promise of economic stability. And it's not necessarily that that's what it should have been or could have been at some point. I don't know, you know. But that's when I stepped into it, I was like, all right, I'm going to, provide that love and that stability. Like I'm gonna work it so that you can feel comfortable, and that's what I'm going
Mm.
to provide. That's what I'm going to bring to the table, and what I'm expecting is that you bring that nourishment and that I don't say reproductive part of it, but
Chill.
yeah, kind of like reproduce what I produce when I feed into you, make that into multiply that.
Mm.
Using your nature, I'm going to use my nature of moving things forward, and then I get back into the masculine and feminine again. But I think like the core of those two things, like the masculine is going out there and produce, and then the feminine is nurturing. We produce and nurture and produce and nurture, and that's how we move forward. You
Mm.
know, that just makes sense to me. Um, but then the economic, when you look at the economic part of that, the man is providing the economic part. You know, or one, not the man, all right, but one of the two is providing that. And then if that's not provided, then it's like, well, where is this thing going? I think you just kind of I don't know how that's defined.
I don't know because I feel like you said, it's a very traditionalist view,
Hmm.
but nowadays,
Right. You guys are further
women
ahead.
are like taking over the workforce. Like
Hmm.
they're trying to break and shatter all the glass ceilings, which
Hmm.
is great to me.
Hmm.
More diversity in the workplace just means that there's more representation in the workplace.
Hmm.
And for I don't know, for me, where I am, I'm
Hmm.
literally the only black person in my company.
Hmm.
See anybody else that's black at all. There was one other person who was working there,
Hmm.
but when I became a little bit after I became full time, they left.
Hmm. Hmm.
Not that they were fired or anything like that, but there was another opportunity for
Moved
them,
on.
and they
Hmm.
decided to take it.
Hmm.
Um, no other black person, and it kind of, not that
The
it falls
community.
to me to be
Hmm.
the authority on black people, but
Sure does.
some stuff,
Sure does.
yeah, some
Then when they look
some
at you,
stuff
they're
came
gonna,
across.
yeah.
Yeah,
When they look at you,
yeah.
you got
And
to be the one.
I'm the
You got to be the one.
representation of, yeah, and
And
it's
your clients too. Your clients too. When they see someone that looks like you, they feel more at ease.
oh
Or
yeah. I mean, assuming that they're
hmm,
black, because remember, I
hmm,
live basically in Little Mexico. That's
in
what it is.
Mexico. Yeah. Hecho.
So I mean, it's it's a little I feel a little push to get a seat at the table type thing. You know, to be a manager or in a managerial position, just so that I can make sure that there's representation. And it's like a little
You
bit of me
feel
is like, oh, well, you know, I need to go. I need to go for it. I need to go for it. And the other part is like, well, what if I'm not ready? What if
you'll get ready.
if I get into that position and then I can't keep up with everybody else, and then they're like, oh, well, you know, we shouldn't have let the black person to the table, you know, that type of thing. It's like,
you feel triple the pressure. But when you say you feel a push, is that a push internally or externally? Are people pulling you and say, hey, come on?
No, internally.
I should go for it. Feeling something inside of you saying, hey, you open you up, get in there.
Like, not that hard too.
Hey, but you know what?
It's there.
Interesting. That's real interesting. You brought that up because just this week, I ain't gonna put no names out there. I ain't gonna put nobody on blast, but the Giants. All right, the Giants.
Oh no!
Every one of the Giants. There's 3 Giants that roam this earth. All right, and I can only say this over on Cross Culture because you know we talking about giants among men, but I mean giants in terms of just the way that these fellas have been a part of my life the whole time. To me, they're giants, right? That's all that means. It does not mean they're, you know, fornicating with whatever.
Oh,
you know,
chill out.
Those Giants. Okay, guys. All right, guys. All right. Talking about the Giants. But all the Giants.
The spiritual giants in your life.
Yes. As of this week, all the Giants, including myself, are moving into managerial positions. And that's just like, dude, that's so huge. That's so huge. You know, and it brought tears to my eyes. Like I called up one of the Giants. I was like, yo, what's going on? He said, I'm on my way to first day at work as a manager. I'm like, yo, that is like, because I need to tell him that I'm stepping into that type of thing too. You know, where I'm just going to be able to influence and add to the flavor, you know, and just make my organization that much better. It was big for me because, you know, the first person that I met that works at my company, he was a manager. All right. Did I tell you about that?
I don't think so.
I rolled up on him. I was out there in the shiz, right? Back when I was on Jet. Yeah, the shiz is Shizuoka for y'all that don't know.
Oh my goodness.
I was out there in the shizzle, right? And I seen another black man in a suit. All right. And I was an instructor. I was a teacher at the time, working at a public school. And I saw him and I was like, I rolled it right up on him. And I said, I thought I was the only one, bro. What's going on? Pap. All right. Shook his hand, brought it in. Okay. All right. Yeah, this is where I am. This is what I do. You know, okay. Got you married with kids? Okay. I'm trying to go there too. Right. And you got a nice suit on. I was thinking. And in fact, I said it's a nice suit, and you know, I like where you're going in life. Now I'm on my way to Tokyo right now, so I can take some courses in order to work on my master. And it's like, that's good. You know, this is my work situation. I'm actually looking for another company. Is what I said at the end. But yeah, you know, I'm looking into different opportunities in Tokyo. And so what's it like working where you work? And he sat me down. We got on the train and he was like, so it's like this, that, and the other. You know, if you're working on grad school, go ahead and pursue that. Like that's a possibility. Just let them know when you have your interview that this is what you're working on, that you're industrious and that you're looking up. And you know, make your schedule around that. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna sign up for that. And that's the only company I applied for, and that's the only company I worked for. You know, after the jet program. This company's been good to me. You know, like I don't have the problems that other folks have, but it was so big to me to see another black man married with kids and on his grind. He was out there going to see his clients. I'm like, yo, that's what I want to do. I want to go see my clients, you know, like I was teaching at high school, but to actually go to their company and working with folks and having those meetings, like I didn't know what the innards of it was, but it looked good. You know, it looked real good. So I thought that I would like to be there at some point, in my journey going forward. And
Okay.
that means a lot, man. It's not, it's not just it's rare to see blah blah blah, like you've heard it a million times, and you can't fall type of thing. But it also, it's good to stand for something that, when you're in that position of leadership, then that means that you've had a it could be spiritual, it could be, just like guidance from other old heads, and just being on top of your game. So when you recognize
Mm.
for that, then go ahead and get it, and don't let the mentality in the States just like, it can't be nothing. No, we can't. Right.
Mm.
And the folks that you see that's out there, that are successful, they were successful in their own little microcosm, and they had the character right thing in their own spot, as par for the course. That's to be expected.
Mhm.
And go get it. If you feel that pull, go get it.
Well,
Everything else will line up.
man, that's powerful though. Like, that's really powerful. And sometimes we do have to look outside of ourselves and step back even, and stop being
Mm.
our own worst enemies and just go for it. Because
Mhm.
nothing ventured, nothing gained, right?
Nothing
You put
ventured, nothing
yourself up
gained.
there, and if they say, "Oh, you know what? We like what you're saying. We want to offer you the position," that type of thing. And if not,
Mhm.
then you just keep working.
Mhm.
Try to find that growth. And I feel like that's where I am right now. I'm looking
Mm.
for that growth within myself to be able to say, you know what? All right, this is it.
Mm. Mm.
But I mean, I just want to wrap it up a little bit. There was a lot of stuff that we could have covered,
Mm.
but it's already been an hour, almost an hour and a half.
Yo, I've had so many people say,
Yeah.
"Man, I want to tune into you guys, but it's kind of long." Yeah, yeah. Today's gone in the
Yeah,
books.
yeah, that's
Today's
a
gone
long
in the
one.
books.
It's a long one. But we do appreciate all those who have been sticking around, all those who are tuning in, all those who are on the road and catching a podcast. We're on Anchor, we're on Spotify. You can find us. I didn't put the link in the description, but you know what
It'll
I
be there.
did put in the description? I did
Mm.
put the link for the odd episodes, something for you to click on so that you can look at TPC Japan's channel. When we go live next week, it'll be from his channel. So every even episode is mine, odd episodes are his. Please make sure to tune in. We don't want you to miss 1 week because you're only subscribed to one channel.
Mhm.
This is a joint venture, so we want you to be part of both.
Yeah, hit that bell notification too. Not just
Yeah.
subscribe. Get the bell notification. That way you know, like we on, right? All of our listeners that have hit the bell know right now that we're live. All right.
Yeah,
And we're moving, along that arrow through time and space. Straightforward. It's been
definitely.
your boy Tipsy Japan. I'm telling you, all right, now play it back one more time, hit that rewind button. 'Cause we said a lot of interesting things. Get
Yeah.
yourself a pen, a pad, and write it down, because that's what it is. All right.
Until next time, this is Ace of Cross Culture. Stay prayed up and be blessed.
Peace.